welcome to Our Energy Matters with Anthony Manna and Dena Marie. Hello.
Hello, konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Hello to our Japanese listeners and viewers. And
I learned a word.
I'm glad that everybody's here. I'm still learning that word, konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. I like the sound of it. Anyway, folks, here we are in the new year, in the first month, and Dena Marie and I are meeting again to explore our energy matters. And that's so important as it's come to me. The title for this session is Forward to Spiritual Awakening. And a quote that goes with it is from Dena Marie's wonderful book, Our Energy Matters. The Art of Crystal Reading, How to Manifest Your Heartfelt Intentions. The quote is, on earth as it is in heaven, inspired or in spirit, we are moved to envision, create, and be uniquely ourselves. Who am I? I am I. Everything else is just an illusion. And we're just talking, that's so beautiful. I mean, I just think that it dances. You know, it really does. It kind of dances on the page. And it just reminds me, you know, we were talking about in our conversation previous to this recording, we were talking about self-love. And I think it's the awakening is there. And I go on here, I just say, for me, 2021 was a year of painful surgeries, biopsies. I hate those, by the way. Cystoscopies, I won't even tell you what that's about. Probing into every one of my orifices, or so it seemed. And I just said, yikes, enough is enough. The year followed upon my first meeting with Dena Marie, spiritual teacher, healer, author, on her vitally popular weekly radio show, Lift Your Spirits. It's at 11:50 AM KKNW, where she talked with me about my character's quest and heartfelt intention in Loukas and the Game of Chance, which looks like this, illustrated by Donald Babish. My illustrated fantasy story about loss and redemption and personal recovery for kids 8 through 12 plus. Curious about Dena Marie's sense of my story's spiritual revelations, I found my way to a copy of her book, Our Energy Matters, The Art of Crystal Reading, How to Manifest Your Heartfelt Intentions. Chakras, crystals, healing inspired by sanctified connections to personal powers. Her book opened the way to an illuminated threshold where I stood yearning for healing from my year of turmoil, pain, and confusion. In her book, I found, and continue to do so, the energy brought on, uncovered, by gazing into prisms of glorified, multicolored crystals. Spirited earth found pieces of earthy consciousness. Waiting at my threshold's point of entry, she beckons me to wander to color choice, which sets off my awakening. For folks who come to her on her island haven to open and explore heart and mind, she assumes the role of Lady Grace, a gifted spirit mentor, counselor, confidant. I am one among those whose spirits are lifted by her ecstatic belief in the phenomena of safe being, love being, transformed being, healing, healing, healing. She writes, when the door opens, you have to have the courage to walk through it. I think I must say that to myself now about 30 times a day, you know, and because it's that threshold business. It's the idea of standing there, you know, and looking around and saying, well, what do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? All you have to do is walk forward, you know, and that's what that reminds. And so it begins. Learning to place crystals on corresponding colors. That's right, a quote from her book. My chakra prayer emerged in dreams, more a resounding, amplified chanting among yearning believers who in chorus sang in harmony with me as such. I desired to be bathed in roots, safe red. I desired to wallow in sacrals and charmed orange, and so it goes. And so there's so much more to come. Yeah. So
You're enamored with the chakras like I am now.
Yeah, well, I know. And I see, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, because, we've been doing a little bit of interviewing in these few sessions, and I like the attitude of that very much, because then I learn from you, and as we all do, our viewers and listeners will learn, because at the center of your teaching is the guidance you offer through the art of chakras. So I say, tell me again, what are they? And how do you see them working in mind, body, and spirit of folks who come to you for healing and awakening?
Well, normally I go from the top, but right now I'm going to go to the root chakra first. The root chakra is like with your hips all the way down to the floor, and that's your foundation. That's your body and your health, which you learned that this last 2 years. You couldn't do the things you wanted to do. A lot of us couldn't because our health was being threatened. How's that? And so the root chakra is basically Mother Earth, your connection to your mom, your birth, and it's your physical body. So rest, taking care of yourself helps your root chakra stay healthy, which is also being out in nature, right? Which you and I, that's our prescription pretty much all the time. We need to be outside. That's being grounded. And then the sacral, which is in your hip area, that's your relationships with the people closest to you. So when I first met you, you would have been not in that group, but since we've been talking for over a year, you're family to me. So that's your tribe. That's the people that support you. And that's what's, it's also fluidity and going with the flow. So relationships that are healthy, they work well together, right? You don't want to have rigid, frigid relationships. So when you always think you know more than the other person, you're not going with the flow. So healthy relationships are over time and people learn to grow together. So now you're in my sacral area, which is family. And then the solar plexus, which is below your heart, is what you do outside of your family. It's what you do outside of your home. It's you writing, it's you dancing. It's me riding my bike, teaching chakras or Reiki. That's the thing that makes me shine. So that's your power chakra right below your heart. So you leave your foundation, your home, you leave your family, and you do the things that make you happy. Okay, that's the solar plexus. The heart chakra is your community. So I live on a beautiful island with a lot of beautiful people. So I have a foundation, I have people that love and support me, and I have something that gets me out of bed in the morning, right? Besides my job, and plus I like my job. So that gets me out of the bed in the morning too. But the heart chakra is the people you surround yourself with that aren't your closest ties. So community, here I'm around artists, musicians, lots of trees, lots of parks. The throat chakra, as we go up the stairway to heaven, your throat chakra is like if you live in a community based on respect, love, like we have more organic food in the food banks. Kids get these amazing meals when school was not in. That community, you get the arts. So you get kids groups that they get to talk. Remember, I was walking in the woods and they were singing, and it was the Waldorf school. Yeah, and they were out in the woods finally out there. You know, they were masked up, but they were out there singing and walking in the woods, and they do it every day. So you get creative people who are inspired, intuitive, and this is the connection to something higher than yourself. People that look up, people are optimistic. Optimistic, that's a good word. That's the higher chakra. So when we're with kids that are around music, art, and Mother Nature, they tend to look up quite a bit. And they're very creative, and we listen to them because what they have to say is so amazing, you know. But if they're closed, kids will look down, they're afraid to speak up, they're in front of their computers all day, shut down, and it's just a bad place to be. So the chakras are opened by setting your intentions, focusing what's beautiful in this world, listening to your intuition, and also listening through conversation, communication. between each other is super important to keep this one open. And telling people how you feel, because that's your heart, or how you think about ideas, and you can brainstorm and tell them anything they want. So that's how kids stay open. And then the lower chakras stay open when we find that one thing we love to do, when we surround ourselves with kind, gentle, fascinating people, and when we spend time with Mother Nature in our physical body, enjoying it, you know. And some people like myself, I live in my head. I run into things all the time and I don't even know it. So that's why the root chakra is important. It's grounding. It's getting out of your head, getting off of the television, you know, and being a present physically. So the root chakra to me right now is really important because people are into technology too much and they spend a lot of time right here. And so exercising, eating right, getting a good night's sleep, those things keep you grounded. And of course, hugging a tree.
Of course.
Bird watching.
Bird watching, which is, as I said, I have like 6 bird feeders and they fascinate me. But see what you just went through, I can show people that in your book, here's the copy that I have, which is a lot of earmarked pages. This is the chakra cheat sheet. So a lot of what you were just talking about is very much here, you know, for us to contemplate. And then across the way, over to this side, are the blockages, you know, which we can get into in a different time. And there's so much of what you just talked about woven all the way through your book. And it's so uplifting to know that we have those powers within us. And I think, and also I marked a page where I could say to people that, and I'm reading from the chakras. The word chakra means wheel in Sanskrit. In ancient English, East Indian language. There are 7 of these major energy centers in the human body and hundreds of minor ones, and they receive, assimilate, and distribute energy throughout our energetic fields, our auras. Each chakra is unique and has its own individual characteristics and functions, which you just showed us, all of equal importance. These 7 energy systems resonate and vibrate at the same frequency as their respective colors of the rainbow. That always brings a smile to my face, or it just, I don't know, just the idea of that just lifts me up because the rainbow is up there, you know, and it just, I can just see myself going there to see those colors are the network through which the body, mind, and spirit can come together. And chakras are energy vortexes, discs, that distribute universal life force energy throughout the body. You know, and I always mark that page and go back to it because, you know, the idea of a chakra was so new to me that I have to keep reminding myself that that's where I really have that. I have that gift, but I also have ways of blocking, you know, that I need to know about, so that the idea of watching the birds, looking at as I am right now, as I look out of my computer window, as it were, watching on this very, very cold day of 10 degrees here in Northeast Ohio, I look out there and I see the patterns of the sun casting shadows on those trees. There are 8 acres out there, and every day it's a remarkable vision, you know, and especially when I go and feed the birds early in the morning, it's just like, you know, Anthony, look up, you know, because I'm so concerned about that little bucket and getting that seed that I said, stop right now and look up. And once I look up, then I'm up there at the top, aren't I? You know?
Yep.
And there's the energy.
And so if we're watching television, we are having the television give us pictures. We're not pretending, we're not imagining, it's being given to us, right? And we're watching something that's painful. You know, I don't watch television. I like I told you, I don't even want radio with advertisements anymore or the news coming on, because it makes me do this. And watch yourself when you, oh my gosh, people do it all day long. That is making you, it's dumbing you down, okay? And we need this because that's our intuition. So if we're looking at the birds and we're exercising and all of a sudden we get an idea, the light bulb goes off right up here, that's a prescription. And that's what we need right now. We have to look up, we have to find direction. And I say God, spirit, whatever, universal life force energy, but there's something out there. Like I said, yesterday, I was focusing on one person that hurt me, and I just left my grandson's birthday and was with my family. Why did I focus on something that was broken when I could have focused on my cup that is so full, right? I'm going on a ferry across to my beautiful island. Isn't it funny that we do that? So that's a prescription, right? It's just to focus on the beauty of this world, and then we get our inner voice again. If you have your inner voice, remember the universe winking at me with the sun going down. It was just an amazing moment. But my inner voice told me to go to a beach I never go to. It was just amazing. But if I was depressed or down, I know I wouldn't have been at that beach and I wouldn't have seen that sunset. And it's our doing, right? We're doing it to ourselves. That's the part that I like. I love teaching this because when I teach it, I remember. And then my life's better.
Yeah, no, I know. And it's the idea of caring for oneself. To do any of that, it's just the idea of loving myself, which I often tell you, we've often talked about this, is that in my upbringing, and I don't even want to identify it as a religion, whatever it was that I was being taught about, was that loving oneself was considered to be prideful, and unnecessary. And I only came in my later years to recognize how important it is for me when I do my intention, heartfelt intention in the morning. Most of the time it centers around the idea of my intention today is to be kind to myself, because it's so easy to slip across the way, and I don't know, be angry with myself for getting old, not going as fast as I used to be, or, writing my story, taking me much more time than ever, that type of thing. And just, not learning, we spend so much time putting ourselves down, so that knowing that I can just wake myself up, in a kind of meditative stance, take a few breaths and live in the openness of mind is starting.
It's funny you're saying that because I just came back from the gym. And remember, I used to be a personal trainer, bodybuilder with no body fat. So today I forced myself to look in the mirror. And I said to myself, instead of like pointing at what's going on there, I just said, God, look at you. You're in the gym. You're working out. Yeah, you're about 20, 30 years older. You're not going to ever be that super thin person anymore. But again, I was focusing on what? What was I focusing on? It was ridiculous, right? Again, going back to how my cup is full, life is good. Isn't that funny? And even when I was super thin, of course I didn't like parts of my body. It's just silly. We're so silly. And yeah, self-love. Just look in the mirror, love yourself just as you are right here, right now.
That's wonderful. That's a great place for us to end this conversation. But I want to tell everybody that if you want to move closer to Dena Marie's wisdom, then listen to her weekly radio show, Lift Your Spirits, on 1150 AM KKNW, which she hosts. Her website is dena-marie.com. And you can also, there's a treasure trove there of possibility. Let me put it that way, of some of the retreats that she's brought people on, her labyrinth, and just a number of other things that are very uplifting. And my website for an interview with Dena Marie is at anthonymanabooks.com. And you'll see there in the media section my interview with her and a number of other people as well. And anyway, come and visit my website. There are a lot of experiences there for children and teens related to literature, writing, reading, lifting your spirits. There we go again.
And I
So-
just have to say, lift your spirits with Dena Marie on 1150kknw.com. Then you'll hear Anthony and I, we did 2 shows together. And in fact, we've done probably 5 or 6 now. And then you're going to be on my Valentine's show. So we're going to talk about self-love.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have to do some meditating on that one. But it's possible. And also because there's so much of it in your book, you know, because I think so often it's the healing power that you have, that when people come to you and you start recognizing by their crystal choices, you know, that there's something going on there, a blockage maybe, and that the healing comes in when you show them that they can love themselves and they can respect. I also like the idea of respect, that you can respect yourself. And you've done that so often in your book and the stories that you tell of people who are on the way to be healed, and your healing power. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so everyone, we'll see you soon. Take good care.
Adios.
Adios. Adios. Okay, bye-bye.